Okay, it is way later than I wanted it to be, but I wanted to take some time to talk about these 3D printed pendants I made for last year when I got to see Eisbrecher again at Adventssingen 2024. And I actually wanted to first go over some troubleshooting tips for these, since I gave quite a few out and I want people to be able to handle those. Then I'll talk a little bit about how I made them and the whole process there, and then I also want to talk about this hat. So starting off with troubleshooting for these, they consist of a 3D printed back that has magnets and then a little fairy light thing in here. This is just hot glued into this section. If it ever needs to be replaced, you can really easily just peel these out and replace it with a different light. If you are having issues with the batteries in this, it just takes little Phillips head, the plus sign screwdriver, and that's how you can get it out. And some of them, even when you flip the switch, it's not going to work reliably. Mine decided to be a perfect example of that, but I'm going to open this up, take those screws out, and I'll show you how to fix that. So if you're changing out the batteries, you only need to take out these two screws here. If you need to mess with the wiring, you do want to take out these two screws as well. And then, like I was showing before, my wiring's it's not working real great. It's a little finicky. So you can pop this open, make sure that it is set to off before you do that. And then since I took out those other screws, it does come all the way apart. So in here, you can just kind of make sure that all of your connections are good. Make sure it was on and working, and then I just put some hot glue in there to steady the wires, and it worked perfectly. So if you aren't comfortable like fiddling with this, you can always just yank these lights out and replace them with something easier. I just was making a lot of them, so I had to kind of go for what was cost effective and easy. So that should be the most intense repair these need. If you end up having issues with the necklace part of it, I undid the knot on one of these and it messed it up, but whatever, I just swapped it out. You can take these off really easily. You can change it out, put it on whatever kind of a pendant you want. And it should be very durable. I threw these at the ground when I was making them to make sure that they would stay together. All that happened was like the back popped off. But other than that, it should be very durable. And I will say it is sensitive to heat. Don't leave it in a car during the summer. Granted that it shouldn't get too hot over in Europe, but I have no idea what kind of summer temperatures you guys have. It will melt. It is made of heat sensitive plastic. So just be careful of that. Otherwise, it should last a good long time, and I hope you all enjoy it. Now, as far as how I made these, it ended up taking me seven prototypes to get to this one. And it started out as just a fun idea I had, like, wow, wouldn't it be cool for all the people that get to go see Eisbrecher regularly to have something that, you know, the band members would be able to really easily pick out in the crowd wherever they are. And I don't know, I like making stuff light up. So it started out with that idea, and I tried a few different ways to go about making it go together, kind of designs and sizes and stuff, and I settled on this for a good size that would be, you know, big and visible, but like hopefully not too big. My perspective on that is very warped from cosplay, but whatever. I started out by just pulling up one of the band logos just on a Google image search. I threw it into Photoshop and I had to basically clean up the lines so I could get a nice clean crisp image. And then from there, a lot of nonsense later, I had my image, which was just this section, and I had to add a little bit to turn it into a stencil. From there, I just kind of played with it in 3D Builder, and it's not a great 3D modeling program, but it worked great for this. I ended up adding, so it looks kind of cool even without the light on. There's the Eisbrecher name around the edge, and then on the back plate of all of them, I did put my information on there and the year. Because I thought that would be cute, so people know who the crazy American that gave them the thing is. I hope everybody likes it, and hopefully that's a decent explanation of all the nonsense that I did, the process of making it, and it was really fun. So the hat is the other thing that I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't that be cool? And so I had to make it happen. This hat, the pattern for it, I actually took apart a cheap hat that I got on Amazon. It was the same kind of thing. I added a little bit of length in the back to that hat. If I had to do this again, I would add a little bit more in the front as well. But the electronics part of it is two long strips of Adafruit NeoPixels going all the way from up here to the paws, and I have it linked in my Discord. If you join that, I had a bunch of my resources linked if anyone is curious about how to make one of these. Adafruit has some really good tutorials, but they're not always applicable to the stuff you're working with, and I went through a lot of troubleshooting on that. So if you have questions, definitely hit me up. This is by far one of the coolest things I've made, and this is basically all the stuff that I worked on last year in, I think it was like October, November, December. The pendants were a little secret project that I had a lot of fun working on, and I wanted to surprise my friend who goes by Educated Marine. He did so much for me, like being able to attend the concerts and helping me figure out like the whole Germany trip, and just really gave me a lifeline for going on this crazy adventure. So I wanted to make something that would be a surprise for him, and I ended up making a whole bunch of them to give out to other people that he knows. So yeah, it was a very fun little project to work on. Thank you guys for watching.